So when you guys were doing Afterlife, were you in a bubble for 7 weeks? Like was
No. We did our normal lives. I mean, some people were even, like with actors that they might be a guest star or something. They might be on another shoot, so they're testing there as well. So
wow.
it's a double jeopardy. I'm thinking, people have kids. You can't tell them no. You can't see your kids for 6 weeks. So
Yeah, some things
everyone
are
did
more
then
important. Some things are more
exactly.
important than seeing those little kids.
Honestly, as a director, I sometimes remember that there are other things in the world that matter too. Like I want to go right, close down everything until I've just finished this, and then you can get
Yeah,
back to normal.
but that would be great though if you're literally doing a show about a guy's former relationship and how much it meant to him in his real life, and that's what's pulling at people's heartstrings. And then people find out that on the set you're like, no, this show is way more important
Well,
than whoever you've got at home.
right. Honestly, it consumes you. You suddenly. I'll give you an example. So years ago, I was in a production meeting, and we were talking about one scene coming up that was filmed in a graveyard. Okay, and the location manager said, "Oh, we can have this. We can do this graveyard, but we can only have it till midday because there's a funeral on." And I went, "Oh, that won't disturb us." She went, "No, they don't want a film crew at the funeral." I went, "Oh yeah, of course."
Yeah. Hey, if they just shut up, they can be there. It's fine.
Yeah. Everything's about you. Everything's about getting through. You got to get in. It mustn't rain. You have Plan A, B. You have Plan C. Nothing can stop this juggernaut because one thing has a knock-on effect and it ruins everything. It throws out the. You've got sometimes when you've got an actor for one day to do all episodes and they haven't got another day. So it's a minefield, honestly. So that's why you start thinking like that. Like nothing can go wrong, no one can be late. So it does turn you into this crazy sort of narcissist.
It's crazy. Your work ethic though is really amazing. The fact that you were able to go out and shoot a special and write an hour and write for the show and direct the show, like it's really crazy your ability to do that. Are you like that good at being disciplined, or does creativity just
It
kind of hit
doesn't.
you and whatever it hits you, you do shit?
Honestly, it doesn't feel like that. I do feel that every project overlaps with two or three. It does feel like I'm always employed, but it doesn't feel like I'm working hard every day and sweating and too much. Except publicity, but because that crunches all into a couple of weeks. That's when I feel stressed. When I go, I've got 30 interviews today, or I've got a thing tomorrow. I've got that, but the actual work, I take a year to write it, or 6 months to a year to write it. You look at every angle. Filming, all the hard work's done. We finish at 4, so it doesn't feel like I'm overworked when I'm actually doing the work. It's the other stuff that makes you feel overworked. That's what makes you feel overworked, and it's just not as much fun as creating. But I don't feel that I'm. I don't know. I think I seem to be able to put it out there, so there's not many gaps between my
Right.
projects. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people will go, right, now I've got to get another film off the ground, and it takes them 3 years to get funded or something. I think that's it looks like I've got a lot out there, and when I haven't, I've got a podcast out or something. So it just feels like I'm always around. I think that's the thing. But I don't feel like I don't feel like I work harder than most people I know. If it feels like it sort of comes easy, if anything.
What was it about this show that you felt like could lend itself to doing more seasons? Right? Because other shows you've created, like you'll
That's right.
stop after season
Yeah.
2, but this is season 3. I feel like, I mean, based on what I've read, there's more good feedback about this season even than the first 2. So it just feels like it keeps going.
Yeah, it feels it does feel like it's growing. I think that's partly the beauty of Netflix, that they keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are watching this and then discovering Derek that they didn't know about before.
Yeah.
So that is the fact that it's always there. Social media, so people talk, people gossip globally now, so that grows. The reason I thought it could do a third, well, one, it's not that much longer than The Office and Extras and Derek. It's only an hour and a half more if you look at it as in total minutes. But I think it did have more legs, just because there are more characters. I sort of created a little Springfield, if you know what I mean.
Right.
There's lots
Yes.
of characters that had their own stories. It's about bigger subjects. You know, it is about it's about life and death and love and grief and all those things that it can't really be overexplored. And I love the project, and there is a part of me that thinks it is. I mean, it's mad to stop now. It's 18 episodes. That's not even a whole season on American network television. It's crazy. It seems crazy to stop it now at its peak, but I think that's what will make it last in the long run. That it is finite, and it's not a traditional sitcom. When you do, a sitcom, unlike a film or a book, is like beginning, middle, and end. Sitcom is all middle. Now, this wasn't traditionally a sitcom, so I did have to have a beginning, middle, and end. So it does seem like it lends itself to being at least finite, and I think that's what will make it last. We don't know, but I do want people to watch it in 10 years.
I love season 3 of Afterlife, and I realized like the part that really, and you've been doing this throughout, but for some reason it just hit differently this time. The part that really tickled me was how completely like sad to the core the show is. Like at its essence, it's just such a sad existence that your character has. And watching this sad man go in and interview people for the newspaper, I mean, those are my favorite scenes. When you talk about creating a Springfield, listening to the woman talking about self-publishing her 37 books and just your character reacting like, yeah, sure. Yep. Self-published. Yeah. No, passion's important too. Yeah. No, totally. Like,
well, I that's the reason I made him a local reporter, because that was one of the last things I came to, is because I wanted him to have to deal with banality because it hurt more, and then I made it the sort of one of the things that saved him as well, because I think that we underestimate normal things you have to do saving your life. Like, he doesn't kill himself initially because the dog's hungry.
mm-hmm.
So that's a chore and it's a dependence. And then he has to go to work because he has to earn enough money to drink or whatever. And then he has to deal with people, and he suddenly feels spoiled because he meets people worse off than him. So in the end, all those things that you just have to do stuff, was one of the things that keeps someone alive. Does that make? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes perfect
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah.
Right,
and there's something,
right.
but there's something even more kind of. It speaks to how pathetic life in general is when you're watching. Like this whole thing is going on, right? And there's just the guy sitting next to him, and his whole job is just to sit there and hold that awful digital camera. And just at the end, hold it up and click. Like it just really defines how sort of mundane and pathetic and dumb the whole process is.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? If you're not in a good place and you start looking at your life, it doesn't take many steps for the average person to go, "Oh my God, I'm worthless. The world could do without me."
Mm-hmm.
And they're right. But that's everyone's like that. That's the true of everyone. No, we don't matter. We're not as important as bees. If every human in the world was wiped out tomorrow, the rest of the world would carry on. It would be better off. It would be brilliant. If you lose bees, we're a desert in about 3 weeks. Right? That's the end. So if you start, all we are is experience machines. I say it to my stand-up. You don't exist for 13.5 billion years. Then you have 80, 90 years if you're lucky. Then you die, never to exist again. And we're all in the same boat, and it's brilliant. I think life is brilliant because it's finite. You know, we're experience machines. You can't even choose who you are. You can't choose where you're born. You can't choose who your parents were. You can't choose your brain. That's done. By the time you start thinking about your personality, you've got it. You've done it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't even choose your own thoughts. They come to you. They're not yours. We're vessels. So if you think of it like that, and you think we're all going to be dead soon, life's better. Life is just better. And it's made me think that I don't get angry at someone who, you know, cuts me up in the road, because I think we'll both be dead one day.
I know, but just hopefully them a lot sooner.
It suddenly seems so bizarre to worry about a tiny thing when you think, but what will I think about this in 10 years? Oh, I think I feel ashamed to worry about it.
But it's crazy though. You're right. But when you're in the loop and in the moment of that negative spiral, like when I'm in that place, it's so hard to see that perspective.
Oh,
like when I'm like, it's fucking nothing means anything, and it's like I know that's irrational, but it's like it's very hard to pull out of that in that moment. It's like a chemical thing almost.
But it's so easy as well. It's like it's that thing that if you go on a corner and you bump into someone, and you go, oh, sorry, and they don't say sorry, why didn't they say sorry?
Yeah.
Why didn't they? So it's like, yeah, that split second. I think it's about justice. I think people want justice, and we don't get it. You know, some people think we get just. You know, if you believe in God, then you think that everything's justice, and it'll be. But you know, if you're an atheist like me, we feel that we're not getting justice. So that's what fiction does. I make everything right in fiction. I make the bad guys get the thing. So that's the beauty of fiction. It's you know, you're God. You're making things fair and just.
Yeah, your idea of justice or your version of justice you can work out in fiction.
Yeah,
whatever that
exactly.
is.
Yeah, and that's obviously dangerous because we can't. That's why we're not in charge, because we can't always get it right. I think it's. You think about like I've had discussions with the death penalty, about the death penalty, and someone said, "Yeah, but what if your mum was murdered?" I go, "Yeah, I'd want to kill them, but
Sure.
that's why I shouldn't be in charge. That's why." It shouldn't be an emotive issue, because if we do that, if we were, people who carry guns, they use them because they've got them and they're angry, and that's why
But it is like the idea of justice. Everybody thinks about it in like the most narrow terms. Like your life can be better than the person who cut you off in every single way. Like you have had every advantage possible. But the fact that they didn't say sorry means that they were unfair to you, and you're not noticing anything else about your life that's
exactly
better than
right.
theirs.
That's
it's
exactly
just
right.
I'm owed an apology.
Yeah, with the jeopardy, and you're right. You can be taken down a road to make your life so much worse. Everyone should just walk away. Everyone should really, to quote the Bible, we should all just turn the other cheek, because then we all have a better life.
Yeah.
But you're right. In the moment, you think, well, this person needs to be punished for eating too loudly in this restaurant.
You're sitting there going like, man, a third season of a show that I just created out of my brain on Netflix, and everybody loves it. Why the fuck would he not stop chewing?
I know. I sometimes carry earplugs with me now, and if there's someone annoying me, I put earplugs in, and Jane goes, "That's sociable."
That really drives you nuts, right? It really drives you crazy.
We were in a cab once, me and Jane, right? And we went past this lovely looking little restaurant, and I went, "Oh, that looks lovely." Jane went, "Yeah, we went there once, but we had to leave because you said some cunt was chewing bread too loudly."
Wow, so it bothers you bad enough that you'll put an earplug in just so you can enjoy your meal.
Honestly, I don't know. And like we had once, there was a waiter there, and he kept going like that, and I kept giving him dirty looks, and Jane was going, "He doesn't know why you're looking at him." I went, "Well, he should know.
Yeah.
Why has no one ever told him? That's disgusting, right?" And the only one, so now he was there, and every time, and now I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to cause a scene, right? So this is how I got through that. So I'm eating the meal, and every time I went, I just went, cunt! Just to myself, like that. Cunt! Like that. Just to make myself feel better.
But isn't the most amazing thing that literally in life, all of your dreams could come true. Every goal that you've ever had could be accomplished. You could have the life that you've always wanted, and nothing will make that scenario better.
No, I just have to. I have to avoid it at all costs. Honestly, me picking a restaurant for it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, everything, anything. I think that anything. I've got this phrase. There's always someone who ruins it. I imagine that I'd be on a desert island and it'd just be perfect. And then someone would just come and sit too close to me and just start sniffing. Right? But why do restaurants do that? I find empty restaurants now, right? And I'm the first person there, me and Jen, the first person there, right? And then the next two that come in, they put them in the table next to me. I want to go, why? What is that? Is that creating an atmosphere? Or is it because you don't have to go so far to the... Fucking, they're spread out first.
It's crazy. When they see people so close together, it's a murderous offense, and it really is just lazy because they don't want to walk 10 extra feet to another table.
You think that is what it is?
That section is closed, sir. That section is closed. Fucking open it.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's a table.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I hate it.
I was in a restaurant when they did that once, right? I just went for a coffee with a mate, and this place was busy, and there was a closed section with a little thing, and I went, can we sit there? And she went, no, that section's closed, right? So I waited for them to bring the coffee, and then I moved to one of those tables, and they didn't say anything. And I thought that was a real win. You're right. That was a real win.
You're right. It is a win. That was a
but
great
they were happy
win
because they didn't have to deal with it, right? But it's little victories like that, isn't it? And I think people. That's what luxury is to me, peace and quiet. Right? Mm-hmm. If someone said, first class on this airplane is absolutely packed, but economy is empty, I'd choose economy. I would sit in economy. There's just no doubt about it. Whatever the seats are, it's just all I want is peace and quiet.
I would too, but I would make sure everybody in economy knew that I chose it and left first class voluntarily.
yeah, there is that thing. Yeah, there is that, isn't it?
Status.
Yeah, they would have to know.
Well, season 3 of Afterlife is on Netflix now. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Everybody loves it, and I think you guys will too. It really is. It's a great show, man. It's really, really good.
Thank you very much, and I can't wait to see you guys. It's been 2 years now, isn't it?
It has, yeah. Are you coming anytime soon?
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I was meant to be there this week. This was meant to be in person, but I do want to plan a trip. I think it's over now. I think 2 or 3 months. The pandemic will be a distant memory, and it'll all be over. We already stopped restrictions. We've even stopped isolation here in England now. We're just done. It's the flu now. It's a cold. Yeah. So I hope to come. I'd love to come by the spring, and maybe I want to start a new show, so I might even do some warm ups around. So
yeah, good. You should.
Great, brilliant. Well, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, good talking to you, man.
Thanks, Ricky.
And congratulations on season 3.
Cheers, man.
All right, buddy. See you soon.
Later.